States District Court, Northern District of Illinois.
One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what...
Henyard, Tiffany, with a Cook County judge ruling that her appointments were illegal and an FBI investigation imminent, the mayor of Dolton is igniting a political storm like never before. The people are tired of her taunting them on live TV with accusations of corruption and tumultuous board meetings. Tensions are rising as Henyard stubbornly holds onto her power. Will she continue her reckless game, or is this the beginning of the end for her controversial career? Hello everyone, I'm Olivia, and welcome to Red Rumbles. The drama in Dolton is simply getting hotter. Dolton's mayor, Tiffany Henyard, is at the center of a tempest that is transforming the once peaceful village into a full-fledged battleground. Residents are calling for her resignation, and there are other scandals accumulating in Henyard's dramatic with court orders and even the FBI pursuing her. Defiance is making everyone nervous. The stakes have never been higher, so stay put. You won't want to miss the next twist in this crazy story, so click the subscribe button and be sure to enable notifications. Once a peaceful village, Dolton is today in the epicenter of a political upheaval. Due to the large turnout, Henyard faced an audience ready to vent their frustrations when she took the stage and declared, "I am the mayor of the village. I see a real mayor, a real boss in the building." However, instead of applause, she was met with louder jeers, demonstrating how much her support has dwindled. The dissatisfaction among Dolton's residents has reached a boiling point, fed up with what they perceive to be Henyard's mismanagement and disregard for their concerns.
Several new developments in South Suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial...
Their message is clear, and they have begun showing up to board meetings in large numbers to voice their displeasure, from drinking to open calls for her resignation. But Henyard has taken a different tack by publicly ridiculing them, adding fuel to an already raging fire. Recent public appearances by Henyard haven't really helped to defuse the problem. It was a moment that encapsulated the widening gap between the mayor and the people she is meant to represent. She made a dramatic entrance at a board meeting, taking the microphone and trying to assert her authority. The audience wasn't buying it, and her speech quickly turned into a shouting match, with residents turning their backs in protest. Her tenure has been clouded by court accusations of squandering government funds, promoting cronies to high-ranking positions without the required consent, and disobeying court orders. Henyard has continued to push the limits of her authority despite a recent Cook County judge's ruling that some of her appointments were unlawful. The legal battle between Henyard and the trustees has made Dolton a battleground, with the trustees filing lawsuits to contest her actions, claiming that she has overreached her authority. While many locals are clamoring for Henyard's resignation, she still has a number of devoted supporters who defend her acts, and these cases have only contributed to the political upheaval. Henyard frequently disregards court orders and moves forth with her unpopular decisions. Even their steadfast commitment hasn't been sufficient to stop the mounting resistance, according to these supporters, who claim that the pushback against her is politically motivated and driven by trustees with personal grievances. The community is divided along two lines: those who think that Henyard's activities have hurt Dolton and compromised its governance, and those who regard her as a victim of a political smear campaign opposing a system that is prejudiced. Village board meetings have become spectacles due to this conflict, with supporters and critics arguing over every choice.
Feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances, while the township
Although the village is struggling with budget cuts, reports indicate that Henyard's spending has gone unchecked, leaving residents to question her priorities. This is one of the most serious accusations she faces regarding her handling of village finances. She is accused of using taxpayer funds for personal expenses like luxury trips and purchases. Although specific proof is still being obtained, the rumors have engendered mistrust among Dolton's residents, who are now demanding an independent audit of the village's finances due to concerns about her financial management, which include allegations that she misappropriated funds from community programs to her personal projects. The controversy surrounding Henyard's problems extends beyond Dolton. Residents of Thornton Township, where she also serves as a leader, have accused her of favoring a small group of insiders over the general public through her policies. casting doubt on her governance style. According to reports, town officials are thinking of conducting their own inquiries into Henyard's behavior, which might indicate Mayor Tiffany Henyard's tenure has been marked by escalating challenges that show no signs of dissipating, and these difficulties may soon spread even further. Henyard, who has already faced numerous lawsuits, court orders, and mounting public outrage, remains steadfast in her refusal to yield to the pressures surrounding her. Recently, she was jeered out of a board meeting, a moment that could have prompted a reflection or an apology for the growing frustrations within the community. Instead, Henyard doubled down, refusing to acknowledge the concerns raised, and rather than offer any contrition, she launched a pointed counterattack. She accused the Board of Trustees of corruption, suggesting that they were conspiring to sabotage her leadership. This bold defiance, a characteristic that has come to define her time in office, has both rallied and alienated those under her governance. For her supporters, Henyard's refusal to bend has solidified her image as a fighter, a politician battling a corrupt system that she claims is out to get her. They view her resilience as a necessary quality in the face of what they perceive as entrenched opposition, determined to stymie her efforts to bring about change. This narrative of an embattled leader standing firm against a powerful adversarial machine has earned her loyalty among certain factions within the community, where she is seen as a figure who stands up for the underdog and refuses to bow to institutional pressure. However, this combative stance has not been without consequence, and it has increasingly distanced her from large swaths of the public. Many in the community feel that Henyard has become disconnected from their concerns, focusing instead on defending her position at all costs rather than addressing the pressing issues they face. Her refusal to engage meaningfully with the criticisms directed at her has fueled discontent, with some residents expressing frustration that their voices are being ignored in favor of maintaining an aggressive posture toward perceived political enemies. As a result, Henyard's leadership has become a deeply polarizing force within the community, with her defiance viewed by many as a barrier to the collaboration and transparency needed to move the town forward. What began as a series of legal and political challenges has now escalated into a full-blown scandal that has drawn the attention of federal officials. Reports have surfaced that Henyard is currently under investigation by the FBI, with allegations of financial mismanagement, bribery, and corruption hanging over her administration. The federal probe, which is reportedly examining the mayor's handling of public funds, as well as allegations of illicit payments, has added yet another layer of uncertainty to her already embattled term. If the investigation uncovers wrongdoing, it could have serious legal consequences for Henyard, as well as far-reaching implications for her administration. The mere fact that such a high-level investigation is underway has already begun to erode confidence in her ability to govern effectively. Critics have seized on the FBI investigation as further evidence of a pattern of misconduct and abuse of power, pointing to the numerous lawsuits and legal battles that have plagued her time in office as part of a broader narrative of malfeasance. For Henyard, however, the federal inquiry seems to represent yet another hurdle in a long line of obstacles she claims have been strategically placed in her path by those seeking to oust her from power. As she continues to navigate these turbulent waters, the mayor had shown no signs of retreat. Henyard remains committed to her role, painting herself as a victim of a concerted effort to discredit her administration. Her defiance, once a symbol of strength to her supporters, has now become a source of division as the community remains deeply split over whether her refusal to compromise is a necessary show of strength or an unwillingness to adapt to the realities of leadership. As the FBI investigation unfolds, the future of Henyard's administration hangs in the balance, with both her staunchest supporters and her harshest critics waiting to see how this latest chapter in her tumultuous political career will play out. Whether she emerges from the scandal unscathed or faces serious consequences, one thing is clear: Henyard's leadership will continue to be a subject of intense scrutiny and debate as the community grapples with the fallout of her decisions. As the investigation into Mayor Tiffany Henyard's actions intensifies, the people of Dalton are left in a state of growing uncertainty, questioning what the future holds for their embattled leader. With federal authorities now examining her for potential financial mismanagement, bribery, and other serious infractions, the stakes could not be higher. The community is left wondering whether these accusations will ultimately be substantiated, leading to potentially grave consequences, or if Henyard, true to form, will once again weather the storm and emerge with her leadership intact. The outcome of the investigation could have profound implications not only for Henyard's political future, but also for the town itself, as federal charges loom like a dark cloud over an already turbulent situation. Yet, despite the gravity of these allegations, Henyard's most ardent supporters continue to stand by her, unwavering in their belief that she is a fighter battling a corrupt system that is determined to bring her down. However, outside this core group, the patience of the wider community is clearly wearing thin. Discontented residents have taken to social media to voice their frustrations, turning it into a battleground where Henyard's leadership is under constant attack. Criticisms range from mocking her public speeches to outright demands for her resignation, with many locals expressing growing disdain for her leadership style. One particularly biting comment described Henyard as always getting the last word, but added that it's usually not worth hearing, while another resident remarked that Henyard is quick to criticize others, but refuses to accept any criticism directed her way. These sentiments echo a broader shift in public opinion, as what was once a divided community has increasingly coalesced around a view that Henyard's tenure has been plagued by mismanagement, stubbornness, and a refusal to engage constructively with her critics. This mounting public frustration represents a serious decline in Henyard's popularity, which has been further exacerbated by her strained relationship with the town's trustees. One of the most defining aspects of Henyard's time in office has been her peculiar and often combative interactions with the Board of Trustees. Trustees have repeatedly accused Henyard of stonewalling them, avoiding critical discussions, and shutting them out of important decision-making processes. Rather than collaborating with them on key issues facing the community, Henyard has consistently positioned herself as an adversary, accusing the trustees of corruption and implying that they are part of a broader effort to undermine her leadership. This combative stance has made it nearly impossible for the town's leadership to work together effectively, with meetings often devolving into acrimonious exchanges and little progress being made on the issues that matter most to Dalton residents. While Henyard's defiance plays well with her supporters, who see her as a leader unwilling to be bullied or manipulated by a corrupt establishment, it has alienated many others who view her refusal to cooperate with the trustees as a sign that she is more focused on maintaining power than on serving the community. The trustees, for their part, have grown increasingly vocal in their criticism of the mayor, accusing her of failing to engage in meaningful dialogue and of allowing personal grievances to interfere with her duties as an elected official. As a result, Henyard's relationship with the board has become emblematic of the broader dysfunction that has come to define her administration. The rising tide of criticism has not been confined to official meetings or formal accusations either. Social media has become a forum for disgruntled residents to share their frustrations, with comments ranging from snide jokes about her speeches to serious calls for her resignation. The anger felt by many in the community has reached a boiling point, and there is a growing sense that Henyard has lost touch with the people she was elected to serve. While she portrays herself as a fighter standing against a corrupt system, many locals now view her as the problem, a leader unwilling to listen or engage with the very community she claims to protect. What's more, the possibility of federal charges has only added to the uncertainty surrounding her administration, further eroding confidence in her ability to govern effectively. Should the FBI's investigation confirm the accusations against her, it could spell the end of Henyard's political career. But even if she manages to survive this latest challenge, it is clear that the tide of public opinion is turning against her. With the trust of the community waning and her relationship with the trustees beyond repair, Henyard's future looks increasingly uncertain. Whether she will continue to fight or finally face the consequences of her actions remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the residents of Dalton are growing weary of the drama and dysfunction that has come to characterize her time in office. Mayor Tiffany Henyard's leadership in Dalton has been marked by unilateral decision-making and a series of power struggles that have polarized the local government and created deep divisions within the community. Her tendency to make critical choices without consulting the Board of Trustees has led to numerous court cases, exacerbating tensions and drawing significant legal costs. The most recent clash occurred during a heated village meeting where trustees confronted Henyard for holding a separate board meeting without the required quorum, ultimately forcing her to cancel it. The situation escalated further when Henyard arrived late to the trustees' official meeting, only to be met with hostility from those in attendance. Her attempts to take control of the proceedings were met with firm resistance, and after just a few minutes, she left the meeting, a move widely interpreted as a sign of her leadership faltering. This chaotic episode underscored the complete breakdown in trust between Henyard and the board, highlighting the extent to which their relationship has deteriorated. The legal battles that have ensued during Henyard's tenure have placed a significant financial burden on the village, with mounting legal fees only adding to the strain on Dalton's already stretched resources. Furthermore, the public demonstrations, political unrest, and frequent clashes at board meetings have negatively impacted the community as a whole, diverting attention away from critical issues such as public safety, infrastructure improvements, and economic development. As Dalton faces ongoing lawsuits and federal investigations, the village's future has become increasingly uncertain, leaving residents worried about the long-term consequences of this leadership turmoil. The relentless drama surrounding Henyard's administration has damaged Dalton's reputation, making it more difficult to attract new investors and businesses that are vital for the village's growth. Many locals now believe that Henyard's leadership is not only hindering progress, but actively impeding the village's ability to move forward. As frustrations rise, there is a growing demand for a change in leadership before further damage is done, both to the local government's functionality and to the community's standing in the wider region. Henyard's defiant stance in the face of criticism and her continued confrontations with the trustees have left Dalton at a crossroads, with many questioning whether she can still effectively govern. Her once promising vision for the village has been overshadowed by legal battles, internal conflicts, and a growing sense of disillusionment among the public. With trust in her leadership dwindling, the community is grappling with the realization that continued political infighting may harm Dalton's prospects, leaving the village struggling to address its most pressing concerns. As the lawsuits accumulate and federal investigations loom large, residents are increasingly anxious that the prolonged discord is causing irreparable harm to the village's reputation and future. Many feel that if Henyard's administration continues on its current trajectory, the damage to Dalton's credibility will be long-lasting, jeopardizing opportunities for future growth and development. Mayor Tiffany Henyard's hold on power in Dalton is more fragile than ever, as she faces mounting lawsuits, an imminent FBI investigation, and a dwindling base of supporters, with even her closest allies reportedly distancing themselves. Despite these challenges, Henyard remains defiant, refusing to acknowledge the growing opposition and continuing to dismiss criticism. As political tensions escalate and federal subpoenas are served, speculation mounts about whether she will resign and allow Dalton to move forward or continue disobeying court orders at the risk of legal repercussions. With potential criminal charges looming, Henyard's political saga has turned into a real-life thriller, each new development more surprising than the last. Her refusal to back down, while admired by a few, has increasingly alienated the wider community, as residents express frustration with the ongoing drama that overshadows critical issues facing the village. Many now view her leadership as a liability, with Dalton's future hanging in the balance. As the investigations deepen and pressure builds, the big question is how long Henyard can maintain her defiant stance before everything collapses. The unfolding situation has left the public on edge, eager for updates in what has become an epic political showdown. And as calls for her resignation grow louder, time is running out for Dalton's embattled mayor.